Let's go Browns! What if I told you the Cleveland Browns just made a quarterback decision that could divide the entire fan base and potentially alter the course of the season before a single snap is even played? What if I told you the front office just made one of the most controversial signings in recent NFL history, one that could either electrify the offense or haunt the headlines? What if I told you that behind all the breaking news, there's a quiet quarterback battle brewing, a fan-favorite rookie lurking in the shadows, and trade rumors that could pit two of the league's most dominant pass rushers against each other in orange and brown? This isn't speculation. This isn't off-season chatter. It's real, and it's happening right now in Cleveland. I'll give you all the details, but first, enjoy if you've been a Cleveland Browns fan for over 20 years. It's great to see fans of all ages. There are people here who were at the first game. If possible, comment like this: "Let's go, Browns. Let's go to the Super Bowl." Well, let's go. Just when you thought you had the team under control, boom, Joe Flacco is named the Week 1 starter. That's right, you heard it. When Joe Flacco hinted on August 13th that he was feeling pretty good and finally getting enough reps to feel like he was operating at a pretty high level, there was already a buzz. Flacco, who famously went 4-1 as the Browns' late starter in the 2023 regular season and helped propel Cleveland to the playoffs, proved he still had something more. This run wasn't a fluke, it was a reminder of what a veteran presence with championship pedigree can do when inserted into a group of talented but volatile quarterbacks. So when the news broke that Kevin Stefanski would give him the key to starting Week 1, it wasn't just a pragmatic decision, it was a statement. And speaking of Stefanski, his recent comments about the quarterback situation tell a lot more than you might think. The Browns currently have 4 quarterbacks on the roster: Joe Flacco, Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett. But the prediction is clear: Stefanski won't keep all 4. "Yeah, I think we'll let that happen as we get closer to the cut," he said. "These are tough decisions. Tough decisions, indeed, because right now, Shador Sanders is turning heads. Not only is he bringing a wave of fan excitement and attention, but the numbers don't lie. He led the entire FBS in completion percentage last season, playing behind one of the worst defensive lines in college football and without a real running game to back him up. So, if Flacco is the guy now, could Shador be the guy next? It's not out of the question. It shouldn't be, because while Flacco brings stability, Shador represents the future. And Stefanski, Andrew Berry, and the front office know it. But the QB room can't stay crowded forever. One name, either Gabriel or Pickett, will likely be cut. And as good as Gabriel's upside might be, Pickett's recent performances haven't sparked confidence. Browns fans have seen this story before, and it's one of heartbreak when potential isn't recognized or is wasted too early. Think Baker Mayfield. Now, if that wasn't enough, the Browns shook headlines again by signing wide receiver Isaiah Bond to a 3-year, fully guaranteed deal worth just over $3 million. Here's why that's a big deal. Bond was projected by many as a late first or early second round draft pick, and at worst a third rounder, but he went undrafted. Why? Legal issues. Bond turned himself in on a sexual assault warrant in April, but a grand jury later no-billed the case, meaning no charges would be filed. And that changed everything. Andrew Berry spoke out, detailing the extensive process the organization went through before making the decision to sign Bond. They did everything from hearing both sides of the case to receiving the results of an independently administered polygraph test. "It is these touch points and more that gave us the necessary insights to make this decision," Berry said. Say what you want about the controversy, but the Browns didn't just roll the dice on this. They took calculated, exhaustive steps. And now, with the case resolved, Bond brings elite speed, clocked a 4.39 40-yard dash, and positional versatility. Slot, wide, change of direction, he's dangerous. And now he's a Brown. This rookie class might be one of the most exciting in recent franchise history. Alongside Isaiah Bond, we've got Mason Graham, who went 5th overall, a disruptive presence on the defensive line. There's also Shador Sanders, Carson Swessinger, a tackling machine linebacker out of UCLA, Quinshawn Judkins, a dynamic runner, Harold Fannin Jr., a MAC-dominating tight end, Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Sampson, another running back with elite burst from Tennessee. It's a class that raises a legitimate question. How many first-round picks did Cleveland actually have this year? The answer? Not as many as you'd think, but that's the power of strategic scouting and savvy decision-making from Andrew Berry and his staff. When you stack all these names together, it doesn't just look like a rebuild. It looks like a reset. But of course, with the potential for glory, there's always tension. One of the more surprising stories to surface recently involved Cleveland's interest in Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson. League sack leader last season with 17.5 sacks, 3 more than our own Myles Garrett. Hendrickson is a disruptive force. And according to NFL insider Jordan Schultz, Cleveland was one of the teams that picked up the phone to inquire about trading for him. Now, would the Bengals really send a Pro Bowl pass rusher to a division rival? Highly unlikely. But the interest itself says something about Cleveland's mindset. They're not sitting back. They're exploring aggressive moves. moves, and that's a signal to the rest of the league. This team isn't just building, it's trying to compete. Let's pause here. I want to hear from you. What do you think about the decision to start Joe Flacco in Week 1? Are you excited to see him take on Joe Burrow and the Bengals? Or would you rather see Shador get the nod early? And what about Isaiah Bond? Are you on board with that signing, considering everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be back with the second half of this story, because trust me, we're just getting started. Now let's get into what this all means in the big picture. The Cleveland Browns are no longer a team just trying to stay afloat. They're a team boldly towing the line between immediate competitiveness and long-term rebuild. And that's a dangerous but potentially rewarding game to play. When you start an experienced veteran like Joe Flacco in Week 1, you're telling the locker room, we want to win now. But when you load up with explosive, high-upside rookies like Shador Sanders, Isaiah Bond, and Mason Graham, you're also preparing to win for the next 5 years. And that's where things get really fascinating. Let's talk about the quarterback room again, because it's shaping up to be one of the most critical decision points for Kevin Stefanski this preseason. Flacco, the Week 1 starter, gives Cleveland a reliable hand. He doesn't need reps to settle in. He's been there, done that. But Shador Sanders, he's the wild card with a ceiling that could stretch into franchise quarterback territory. When Stefanski said he hopes Sanders will get more reps and we'll get to see him next Saturday against the Rams, that was no small statement. That's the front office betting on Shador's talent, even if it's not ready to take over just yet. And here's where Browns fans need to lean in, because this next month could define the quarterback path of the franchise for the next decade. If Shador shines against the Rams, if he continues to command the offense with poise, if he builds on that FBS leading completion percentage, how long can Cleveland really afford to keep him as QB2 or QB3? How long before the pressure mounts to hand over the reins? Fans are already talking. The debate is heating up. And if there's one thing this fan base knows, it's the pain of letting a franchise QB slip through your fingers. Don't let it happen again. Not with this kid. And what about Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett? Let's be honest, someone's getting cut. Stefanski knows it. The front office knows it. And with every passing practice and preseason rep, that decision gets closer. Gabriel has shown flashes of dual threat ability, and Pickett, well, he's got experience but hasn't done enough to seize control of the competition. If the Browns decide to roll with Flacco and Shador as their top two, it comes down to who offers more value on the bench or on the trade market. Don't be surprised if one of them is off the roster by cut day. Then we come back to Isaiah Bond. The controversy surrounding his signing can't be ignored, but now that the legal matter has been resolved, and with the team emphasizing the depth of their research, including a polygraph and conversations with all parties, it's clear they believe in Bond's character and upside. On the field, this kid could be a game changer. With a 4.39 40-yard dash, elite change of direction, and versatility in the slot or outside, Bond adds another layer of explosiveness to a receiver core that already features speed in hands. He's the type of talent that forces defenses to change their coverage schemes. One step, two step, he's gone. If the chemistry with Flacco clicks early, you might see Bond making splash plays sooner than expected. And don't sleep on the rest of this rookie class. Mason Graham looks like a future star on the defensive line. He's got the frame, motor, and instincts that translate to NFL dominance. Carson Swessinger is already being praised for his field vision and sideline-to-sideline coverage. He's a linebacker that could fill the gap left by J.K. and maybe even surpass expectations. Quinshawn Judkins and Dylan Sampson bring burst and balance to the running back room, potentially giving Cleveland one of the youngest and most dynamic backfields in the league. Add in Harold Fannin Jr., who tore up the MAC as a tight end, and you've got a class that looks like it was pulled straight from a Madden fantasy draft. Let's not forget what's happening on the defensive front. Myles Garrett continues to be the most dominant force in football, and with opponents double-teaming him on almost every snap, the idea of pairing him with Trey Hendrickson sounds almost unfair. While it's unlikely the Bengals would hand over their sack leader to an in-state, in-division rival,